Hey, what's up, y'all? So, I want to talk about the UFC co-main event and the main event for them all. I'm excited about this one, man. There's going to be a great fight. The main event is actually two females. Arguably the best female fighter, one of the best fighters in general from Brazil. Amanda Nunes, she's Brazilian. And she's going up against Mexico, a fighter from Mexico, Aldana, Irene Aldana. Irene, her name's Irene in English. Irene Aldana. She's from Mexico, I think she's from Jalisco. And in the co-main event is the former champion, #1 ranked in the division. I'm thinking about so much shit right now, but it's Charles Oliveira do Bronx versus Benil Dariush, who is an American. I believe he's Iraqi or Iranian American. It's Middle Eastern. Both of these guys have been in the fight game for a long time, been in the UFC for quite a while. Both are veterans. Charles Oliveira had a really good run, a really good reign of being champion until Islam Makhachev defeated him in his last fight. He hasn't fought since. I think he lost in the first round. Somebody walking by. And yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. Charles Oliveira, he got choked out against Islam Makhachev in his last fight. You guys seen it. And in my opinion, it was kind of sucked. You know, he was champion. He had to fly all the way to Abu Dhabi, which is close to, like, you know, it's in the Middle East. And I think it's probably closer to Russia. Or, I mean, he's Islamic, you know. Islam Makhachev is, you know, his religion is Islam, you know. And Abu Dhabi is primarily, it's an Islamic state, you know. So it's kind of unfair that the champion had to go fight in the challenger's backyard. Home advantage for the challenger. I'm pretty sure you guys might have thought about that as well, for those of you who are fans of UFC. And he ended up losing. I think he lost in the first round. Might have been the second. Islam caught him with the hook, dropped him. Islam jumped on him quick, very strong. Ended up choking him out. And so it's interesting to see. You got this guy who is claiming to want to regain his title. He's going to have to fight another contender before he gets a chance for a rematch at the title. And it's a journey. It's a challenge. Kind of like Henry Cejudo set a bar for himself, you know, for example. That makes it exciting, you know. I think he beat Sterling. They didn't give it to him, but I think he should still maybe fight the winner of Sterling versus that fucking Sugar Sean O'Malley. Anyway, so these things are exciting, you know. You see these guys challenging themselves to try to regain a title or aim for a new, you know, a new challenge to conquer. And and shout out Benil Dariush. Not a guy you would think was a fighter, you know, with the shirt on. You know, he has gray hairs. He's only 34. Very humble, very kind dude. But man, the guy's fucking tough. The guy is extremely tough. He'll take a punch to give a punch. And this fight is exciting, man. Charles Oliveira seems to be taller, but I want to say maybe Benil is stronger. And you kind of want to say that Charles Oliveira can maybe even last longer because he's slimmer. He's more, I want to say, agile. He's kind of like a fucking reptile. Once he like gets a hold of you, he's kind of long, you know. He might wrap around you. And you know, but he also has really extremely good striking. You know, he's beat some of the best. I mean, he beat Justin Gaethje. I mean, he choked out Dustin Poirier, you know. And the way he did it was by striking first, you know, hurting the guys, getting their back, you know. And so he's very scrappy, man. This guy has so much courage. He has no backpedal. He's gonna move forward. He's very aggressive, throws elbows, very dangerous. And Beneil Dariush is also a guy who stalks you, you know. He doesn't move backwards. And he's very strong, you know. He's very strong. When somebody tries to take his legs or take him down, he has a really good takedown defense. Very strong base. Like I said, he'll take a punch to give a punch, you know. He's really good with kicks. Has a really good jab. And I'm just so excited as a fan, you know. I don't know much. Like, I seen the fight with Dariush versus another, I think a guy's from like fucking Poland or something. Another European fighter who's supposed to be this, he had high hopes for himself, you know. And Beneil just, you know, the guy kept trying to take Beneil down, and Beneil was looking really well on his takedown defense. And he had a couple good actual like strikes that connected really well and dropped the other guy. And he just did enough to keep himself, you know, ahead of the fight. And he didn't do any mistakes that looked silly. He was very technical, you know, very, you could just tell, okay, this guy, he's doing all the right things, you know. And so that's a very interesting fight. I don't know, like I said, both guys are very family oriented. If you guys watch Embedded, I want them all to win, you know. I want them all to make money. Now, Charles Oliveira, he's already a superstar, you know. He's already a superstar in Brazil. Millions of followers on Instagram. This dude's a certified superstar in Brazil. And Brazil's a big country, so I don't know. It's just interesting to see. But if, you know, I'm not saying it because he's American, but Beneil Dariush, he's not the guy that a lot of people know about. He's not a guy that a lot of people are excited to see. You know, he doesn't have tattoos. He's not like this super handsome guy, super appealing, attractive dude who doesn't talk a lot of smack. So it'd be good to see him. He's a really good fan. He's a really good guy to like look up to. You know, he loves his family. He brings his family to the fights. And I just think that it'd be cool to see his turn, you know, to see him have a championship run. Because it's hard to be a superstar in America if you're not all those things that I just said, you know. And it'll be a really good change of pace. I think it'll attract a lot of fans who are like, no, UFC is too brutal for me, you know. If you see a guy that's, you know, who professes to be a follower of Jesus, is a great family-oriented man, and can also be a champion, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, he's like a grassroots guy. Like, maybe he could have got a title run sooner if he was this, you know, face tats, fucking trash-talking type of individual, you know. So I'd kind of like to see him get his money, you know. And to see him versus Islam Makhachev be very, very interesting. You know what Islam wants to do? He wants to take it to the ground. Like I said, Dariush has some really good takedown defense. And so, but my prediction, I don't know. I still think Oliveira is very dangerous. I still think he's dangerous. If he hurts you with the striking and you fall to the ground, he's going to jump on you. And I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't think Beneil's going to make a lot of mistakes at all. I really don't think so. I don't think he's going to make any mistakes at all. If someone makes mistakes, I think it might be Oliveira, just like how he made a mistake against Islam Makhachev. But if not, it's going to be a serious striking battle. And yeah, so. And now to the main event, Amanda Nunes, a woman who had lost her title against a female named Juliana Pena, who she was actually supposed to fight her for the third time, but Juliana broke her rib. And the first time she fought Juliana, I'm talking about Amanda Nunes, I guess Amanda didn't take her too seriously. You know, she gassed out. You know, the durable, maybe not as athletic or as skilled as a lot of other fighters. But Juliana Pena was just tough. She kept coming forward, and every time she would come forward, she would fucking just come with like a 3-punch, fucking like Superman punches, like just with her shoulders and her head like leaning forward, and 3 punches, and it worked for her that day. You know, Amanda wasn't prepared. But in the second fight, Amanda dominated. Amanda switched to southpaw. Every time Juliana was doing kind of the same thing, kind of like reaching in, throwing punches, and Amanda would step to the side and her southpaw striking. You know, now this time with her strong hand as her jab, she had that kind of little overhand right and a drop Benya multiple times, and she got on top of her, and she's a strong woman, Amanda Nunes. But this time she's actually going to be the smaller fighter this time. Shorter. I don't know if she's going to be the weaker of the two, you know. And definitely she's not going to be the least skilled of the two. Her and versus Irene Aldana. But you could say that's what Irene Aldana has on her side, is her toughness, you know, that Mexican warrior spirit. It's literally just a mentality. It's honestly just a mentality of that Mexican spirit. You know, you go down on your shield. And I seen a couple fights from Irene Aldana, and one when she was just chasing this female too much, and it was kind of, I think she might have lost that fight, but she was chasing the female too much. Like, she didn't know how to cut off the ring. You know, this was a couple years ago, and it was kind of frustrating to watch. You know, Irene Aldana just kept like chasing the girl. I'm like, ah, man, like kind of like pivot to the left or right a little more. Stop chasing the female. You know, let her come to you. Stand in the middle of the ring. You know, stop chasing her. Like, don't you feel the frustration? Like you're trying to chase the rabbit. You know, and then I seen the fight where she fought against a girl named Kason, a female with like short hair. And Kason was actually a lot bigger. And in the first round, Irene Aldana started off very well. She was a lot more cleaner with her punches. She threw a lot of good straight punches. She was very aggressive. And I think she even dropped her a couple times, and she actually got her in like a submission or two, I think, if I can remember. But I know for sure she had a very good first round. But then that female Kason, she actually like settled down in the second round. She won. She actually took Aldana down, and you kind of seen a little bit of a lack of skill on the ground for Aldana. But then you kind of think that Kason was a lot bigger though. The Kason girl, she had really nice legs. She was really thick on down low. Like, a lot of fighters aren't really that thick down low, especially if they're pretty tall, you know. And even in the third round, again, she was kind of outstriking Aldana. I don't know if Aldana got tired. It was only a 3-round fight. But I think when Kason tried to take Aldana down, I think Aldana, like at this time, I think she did a pretty good job. It might have been like in the middle of getting taken down or dropped. But anyway, that Kason girl was still on her feet, and while Aldana was on her back, she threw like a kick with her left heel, her left leg, and her heel hit that girl Kason in the side. And it was like literally within 2 minutes of the fight being over. And it kind of looked like the fight was going like to Kason, but that kick was right on the money, and it dropped Kason, and literally it was like a knockout kick to the liver. And you can kind of see even Aldana kind of wasn't really excited about that victory. She kind of felt, you know, that she wasn't doing too well, and that was her last fight. So I think the stand-up game is actually going to be a reliance for her, and it's kind of going to see her skill level, if she's improved, if her coach seen some things that, I mean, I'm not saying I know anything, but things that I've seen, if the coach kind of cleaned it up or corrected those vulnerabilities. And because Amanda Nunes, I mean, only person who could beat her so far is herself, when she doesn't train properly, when she doesn't, you know, she's not as hungry, you know. And I mean, this might be the last time we see her fight, you know. I think it's always good to go out on top, you know. You don't want to go out, you know, do what Khabib did, you know. You want to, if she has a good dominant performance, she doesn't need to fight Juliana Pena no more. She doesn't need to fight nobody else, you know. Go out on your shield knowing that you beat, look at this, like Brandon Moreno, Yair Rodriguez, Alexis Grasso, and then like Mexico's on fire for fighters right now, you know. And it's about time, you know. They're our neighbors, you know. They're looking over the fence at this American dream, you know. So, you know, they see Mexican champions thriving in America, you know. Canelo's hit from history, you know. The Moraleses, Corraleses, De La Hoyas, even Mexican Americans, you know, that same spirit. So of course, you know, they're seeing the party over here in America. It's about time that they were going to thrive in another combat arena, you know, organization. So I mean, if Amanda Nunes has an awesome fight and she has to pull out a couple tricks and has to show her separation and skill against someone with that mentality of a Mexican warrior, then that's a good fight to take your exit, you know. And but I think that's gonna be an awesome fight too, you know. I don't see Irene Aldana, I don't see her quitting. I think she's gonna go out on her shield. And honestly, the later the fight goes on, I think she's gonna benefit more, because we've seen Nunes fade a little bit, you know. We've seen her have trouble with her conditioning. And a lot of times when you have your own gym, you can get comfortable. When you've been champion, and now that she has her own gym, and she's the boss now, like, who's really pushing her, you know? And so I don't know, some of these things can have an effect. And Irene Aldana being hungry, I think she might be younger. Like I said, she's taller with the reach, and I would say, you know, Mexicans are known for having great boxing. That's something that they focus on, you know, having that skill in boxing, you know, having that heart of a lion and a champion, that Mexican spirit. So I think the later the fight goes, it's going to benefit Irene. I think Amanda should take it to the ground. I think she should make the fight a dirty fight, take it to the ground, and make it a ground and pound type of fight, and see the heart that Irene does have to get up and to bring the fight back on her feet. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And will Mexico have a fourth champion within the same year? At least a year and a half, right? And I'm just excited. And on boxing as well, we have a good fight. Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez. Josh Taylor, he defeated one of my favorite boxers out of, he's from San Jose, but he was training with Robert Garcia, who's one of my favorite trainers out there, out in Pomona, Riverside. Josh Taylor beat Jose Ramirez to be the undisputed, I think, junior welterweight champion. And now he's fighting Teofimo Lopez. It's the 140-pound division, I think it is. And so yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. It's another fight, I think, on Top Rank. You guys can stream it like me. I do a lot of streaming. So anyway, I'm hungry. I gotta work tomorrow. So some good fighting on UFC, man. Just my take on it. My prediction for the female fight, I don't know. From what I seen from Aldana, I didn't see much skill from Grasso either. You know, I didn't see much skill from her, but she was able to strike, make the fight dirty and scrappy. Not dirty like poor sportsmanship, but make it a dogfight. And she dropped. She outboxed Valentina Shevchenko, you know, whenever, you know, the gaps of, you know, resetting yourself after maybe missing a couple punches. That's when Grasso was able to capitalize, like, on those resets on Valentina. And as soon as Valentina fell to the floor, that's when Grasso did her thing. And, you know, I had seen Grasso do that before. So sometimes skill doesn't matter. Sometimes it's heart and preparation, you know, and the will to win. So I don't know, the female fight, my heart goes, my people's is from Mexico, so my heart goes there. But I don't know, I feel like my brains is telling me Nunes is probably gonna win. And so I don't know, it's gonna be a good card. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace.